Reissued vintage toy lines, a double-edged sword. Hello and welcome to another video. In this video I want to talk about the concept of reissuing iconic toy lines. Not as in updating them slightly, twisting and tweaking, like it was the case for instance with the Star Wars Vintage Collection, the Indiana Jones Retro Collection, or the G.I. Joe 25th Anniversary and Retro Collection lines. No. I'm talking a release as in completely identical as the original release back in the day. An example of this is the first series Real Ghostbusters that have been reissued by Hasbro a few years back, and the more recent reissued Real Ghostbusters Fright Features line. Another iconic 80s toy line, Kenner's Mask, is rumored to be next. And this is what motivated me to do this video. This concept of reissuing iconic toy lines isn't anything new. In the early 2000s, Hasbro had already did the same with the G1 80s Transformers, while Mattel reissued its 80s Masters of the Universe toy line through their commemorative series. Now, while this nostalgia-driven approach might lead to joy and excitement among some, it's quite the opposite for others. Or in other words, how this nostalgia-driven approach has its proponents and opponents, and hence is not without its controversy. One of the primary reasons for reissuing vintage toys is to cater to the nostalgic and sentimental value they hold for many people. These toys often evoke fond memories of childhood, and their reintroduction can provide a sense of comfort and connection to the past. Reissued toy lines can attract a wider range of collectors, including those who may not have been able to obtain the original versions when they were first released, and or are unable to afford these nowadays because prices having gone up, and or an entirely new generation of fans even. Think the kids of the now adult collectors. Either way, this can lead to increased sales and profitability for the toy manufacturers. However, the reissuing of vintage toy lines can diminish the perceived scarcity and value of the original version of that line released back in the day. This is perceived as particularly problematic by and for collectors who are mostly interested in investing in rare and collectible items. Also, relying too heavily on reissued toy lines can stifle creativity and innovation within the toy industry. Manufacturers may become less willing to take risks and experiment with new concepts and designs. A balanced perspective. Ultimately, the concept of reissuing vintage toy lines is a double-edged sword. And like with many things in life, it's not without its advantages nor disadvantages. Hence, there will always be proponents and opponents of this nostalgia-driven approach by the toy manufacturers. In the end, it's all about personal preference, respecting each other's preference, and experiencing the fun, joy, and excitement of toy collecting together as one big community connected by our passion for toys. Anyway, this was my take on the concept. What's your take, or don't you have one? I, for one, am curious to know, so go ahead and comment down below. Alright folks, that's it again for now. Thanks for hearing me out. Take care, and until the next video.